When I say stay hungry, I'm not talking about food. I'm talking about that fire inside of you that says, I'm not where I want to be, but I refuse to stay where I am. Hungry people don't sleep on dreams. Hungry people don't take breaks on goals. Hungry people don't wait for opportunity. They go get it. When you're hungry, you don't need alarm clocks. Passion wakes you up. When you're hungry, you don't make excuses. You make adjustments. Let me ask you something. Are you hungry for success? Are you hungry for greatness? Are you hungry to break the curse in your family? Are you hungry to prove to yourself that you were born for more? Because if you are, there's nothing that can stop you. Let me tell you something right now, and I hope you're ready to hear this, because I'm not here to tickle your ears. I'm here to wake you up, to shake your soul. So let's go. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. I'm not saying it might be. I'm saying it is. You can't be comfortable and become everything you were born to be. It doesn't work like that. You can't have it both ways. You can't want to be legendary and live like you're ordinary. You can't talk about being a lion and sleep like a house cat. You either go get it or you settle. You either choose comfort or you choose growth. But hear me, you cannot have both. See, some of y'all are stuck right now, not because you're not talented, not because you're not smart, not because you don't have what it takes, but because you're too comfortable. You got just enough to survive, and that's exactly why you're not hungry enough to go to the next level. You got a roof over your head, food on the table, a little job that pays just enough to keep you from being desperate, and that's your problem. You're not desperate anymore. You're not uncomfortable enough to move. You used to dream big. You used to hustle hard. You used to wake up with that fire, but now you're chilling. You got soft. You got satisfied. And guess what? The grind don't respect that. Life don't reward that. You see, when you're comfortable, you start lying to yourself. You start saying things like, I'm good. I'm straight. I'm doing better than most people. And you know what that is? That's your fear talking. That's your fear convincing you to stay right where you are. That's your fear tricking you into shrinking your dream down to the size of your comfort zone. Because greatness lives on the other side of pain. Greatness lives on the other side of sacrifice. Greatness lives in that space where most people quit, but you keep going. And that space is uncomfortable. It's hard. It's painful, but it's necessary. You ever see a caterpillar turn into a butterfly? That transformation ain't cute. That process is rough. That thing has to break itself down to build something new. And that's what you got to do if you want to be great. You have to break the habits that are keeping you average. You have to destroy the mindset that's keeping you in chains. You got to kill the comfort before the comfort kills your calling. You understand me? I was homeless, man. I was sleeping in abandoned buildings, eating out of trash cans. You think I was comfortable? You think I liked it? No, but I was hungry. I was chasing purpose. I was chasing something bigger than my pain. And I had to make a decision, either stay in the comfort of struggle. Yeah, comfort of struggle, because even your suffering can become familiar, or push through the discomfort of change. I chose pain. I chose discomfort. I chose the grind. And guess what? That grind chose me back. You sitting around waiting for it to feel right. You waiting for the perfect moment. You waiting to not feel tired. You waiting to not feel scared. You waiting to not feel broke. Let me help you. That moment is not coming. Greatness don't. You have to chase it. You have to go get it. You have to bleed for it. You got to wake up every single day and say, I'm willing to be uncomfortable today so I can be great tomorrow. And let me be real. The world is full of people with potential. It's full of people who could be great. But very few actually choose to leave comfort behind. Very few are willing to give up their free time, their video games, their parties, their sleep, their little pleasures, their safety. But if you want to go to the next level, you got to be one of the few. You got to be one of the hungry ones. You got to be the type of person who says, I'd rather struggle now and build a legacy than chill now and live with regret. Because listen to me, if you don't kill your comfort zone will kill your dream. It will choke it, smother it, keep it quiet, keep it small until one day you wake up and you don't even recognize yourself. You don't even remember what you were chasing. You become just another person who used to be hungry. Don't let that happen to you. Don't let comfort take what pain was supposed to build. You got to treat comfort like your enemy. You got to fight it every morning when that alarm goes off. You got to fight it when you don't feel like working. You got to fight it when your body says quit, but your purpose says keep going. You got to fight it when people around you are living soft and you're the only one going hard. Let them be soft. Let them relax. Let them quit. That ain't you. You're different. You're chosen. You're built for more. Every champion you look up to, they got there because they lived uncomfortable. Kobe didn't rest. MJ didn't rest. Serena didn't rest. Elon Musk doesn't rest. They grind. They sacrifice. They go beyond their limits. They say no to comfort so they can say yes to greatness. So the question is, what are you saying yes to today? Because you got a choice. Every morning you wake up, you choose. You choose easy or effort. You choose comfort or calling. You choose average or amazing. And I'm begging you, I'm pleading with you, choose the grind, choose the pain, choose the pressure, because pressure builds diamonds. And you, my friend, were made to shine. You keep telling everybody you're going to do something big. You're going to build something special. You're going to chase the dream. But my question is, where's the work? Where's the effort? Where's the daily grind, the sweat, the sacrifice? Because I hear your mouth moving, but I don't see your feet matching. And if your actions don't line up with your words, then your words don't mean a thing. Don't talk about it, be about it. You got to understand something. This world don't care about what you say you're going to do. It only respects what you actually do. And I get it. Talking is easy. Talking is safe. Talking is comfortable. Anybody can post motivational quotes. Anybody can say I'm grinding. Anybody can hashtag no days off or rise and grind. But who's really living that life when the cameras? Who's really in the lab when no one's clapping for them? Who's really putting in that work when there's no applause, no spotlight, no lights, no validation? You see, the problem is you got addicted to the sound of your own potential. You fell in love with the fantasy instead of the process. You got good at sounding like a beast, but not moving like one. You became more obsessed with how your goals look on paper than how they feel when they hurt your muscles, break your routine, take your sleep, drain your energy, because that's what this takes. Not hype, not noisemakers and microphones. It takes action, consistent, painful, daily action. Every time you open your mouth and say, I'm going to do this, the world looks at you and says, okay, show me. And if you don't follow through, guess what happened? You lose credibility with the world, and worse, you lose credibility with yourself. You start telling yourself lies. I'll start tomorrow. I'm just waiting for the right time. I'm almost ready. No, you're not. You're afraid. You're stalling. You're talking your way out of doing it. And every day you do that, your dream gets smaller while your comfort zone gets bigger. I'm not here to beat you down. I'm here to wake you up, because I've been where you are. I used to say I'm going to be successful. I'm going to inspire millions. I'm going to be a speaker. But it wasn't until I started doing, not talking, doing, that things changed. Not when I had the mic, not when the cameras were rolling, not when the crowd was cheering, when I was alone, broke, tired, hungry, and still working like the world owed me nothing. Because it didn't, it doesn't, it never will. You want to know why so many people stay average their whole life? It's not because they're not talented. It's because they talk more than they execute. They hype themselves up, make big plans, buy journals and planners, write down ideas. But when it's time to grind, when it's time to wake up at 4 a.m., when it's time to run, when it's raining, when it's time to work, when everybody else is partying, that's when they disappear. That's when the talking stops and the truth shows up. If you really want it, really want it, you don't have to announce it. Your work will speak for you. Your consistency will speak for you. Your results will speak for you. That's why I tell people, don't call yourself a boss until you've bled for something. Don't call yourself committed until you've sacrificed. Don't tell me you're all in if you're still hitting snooze, still wasting time, still putting it off until next week. That ain't all in. That's just a dreamer playing dress up. You want to be respected. You want to be feared in your field. You want people to say, man, that one's built different. Then be about it. Wake up early and put in the work. Stop talking about your goals. Hit the gym, build the business, write the book, make the calls, study the craft, whatever it is. Do it, and do it daily. Not once, not for a week, every single day, until it becomes who you are. Because here's the truth. Talking drains energy. Every time you talk instead of act, you give yourself false satisfaction. You trick your brain into thinking you've accomplished something just because you said it out loud, but you didn't. You didn't do anything. You just gave your ego a hit of dopamine and sat back down, and your dream is still sitting in the same place it was yesterday, untouched, unmoved, starving. You ever notice how real winners move? They're quiet. They don't say much. They're locked in, focused, obsessed. While everyone else is bragging, they're building. While everyone else is showing off, they're showing up. They let their work scream so loud that they don't have to. That's how you move if you really want this. You stop talking about what you're going to do and you just go do it. Look at Kobe. Look at MJ. Look at Serena. They weren't just talking. They were living it. They were eating it, breathing it, sleeping it. It wasn't a quote on a wall to them. It was a lifestyle. You want that level, you got to match that discipline. You want to be a legend, then act like it, move like it, think like it, work like it. You don't get to be legendary by accident. You don't trip and fall into greatness. You grind your way there. You earn it day by day, rep by rep, sacrifice by sacrifice. And don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying goals are bad. I'm not saying vision boards are useless. I'm saying they're just the starting line. The race starts when you stop talking and start running. And the people who win, they're the ones who don't need to be told. They don't need cheerleaders. They don't need validation. They need a challenge. They need pain. They need a wall to climb because that's where they live. That's what they do. So from now on, if you say it, back it up. If you write it down, walk it out. If you dream it, chase it with everything you've got. Don't let your words be louder than your words. Don't be another person in the crowd screaming goals with no follow through. Be the one they look at and say, man, they didn't say much, but they did everything. Because in the end, talk fades, hype fades, but hustle leaves a legacy. Let me know if you'd like the next point expanded in the same Eric Thomas inspired tone. I don't care how smart you are, how good your plan is, how much talent you were born with. At some point on this journey, you're going to have to deal with pain. And the real question is not if you're going to feel pain. The real question is, what are you going to do when it shows up? Because let me tell you something, pain is temporary, but legacy is forever. You feel that burn in your chest when you're running and your lungs want to give out. That's temporary. That soreness in your legs when you've been grinding all week and your body starts saying no more. That's temporary. That heartbreak from failure, that rejection, that humiliation when you fall short in front of people, temporary. But what lasts? That thing you build, that name you create, that mark you leave. That's what stays. But too many people quit when the pain hits. Too many people let pain write the ending of their story. You get one bad break, one tough week, one moment of resistance, and you start questioning whether it's worth it. You start wondering if you're meant to do this. You start talking yourself out of it. You were never supposed to stop there. That pain wasn't your punishment. It was your preparation. That struggle was making you stronger. That adversity wasn't blocking the door. It was the door. You want to build something people remember. You want to create something that outlives you. Then you got to be willing to suffer for it. You got to be willing to give everything and maybe get nothing back for a long time. You got to be willing to be misunderstood, overlooked, counted out, and still keep showing up because that's the grind. That's the sacrifice. That's the price of legacy. When I was homeless, I wasn't just sleeping outside. I was dreaming outside. I was broke on the outside, but I was building something on the inside. And I knew even in that pain, even in that struggle, that it wouldn't last forever. I knew if I could survive the temporary pain, I could build something permanent, something real, something that mattered. Too many of y'all treat pain like it's the end of the story. It's not. It's the beginning. Pain is the thing that separates the average from the elite. Everybody wants greatness until they meet pain. Everybody wants success until success asks them to bleed for it. But guess what? Your legacy is built in those painful moments. The hours nobody sees. The losses nobody claps for. The battles you fight alone. You ever hear somebody say, I don't want to feel pain? Let me help you. You don't get to choose whether you feel pain. You only get to choose the kind of pain. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The pain of pushing yourself when you're tired or the pain of waking up 5 years from now in the same place, wondering what could have been. Either way, there's pain, but only one leads to legacy. That's what I mean when I say pain is temporary. I'm not saying it doesn't hurt. I'm not saying it won't break you down. I'm saying it has an expiration date. It can't stay forever. That storm, it's passing. That weight, you're getting stronger. That failure, it's a setup for the comeback. But your dream, your purpose, if you keep showing up, if you keep pressing forward through the fire, you'll come out of it better than you went in. Think about every legend you know, every icon, every GOAT, every name that rings out across generations. You think they got there without pain? You think they coasted their way to greatness? No, they fought through something. They went through nights with no sleep, seasons of loneliness, years of struggle, and they kept going. That's what made them different. Not just the talent, not just the opportunity. It was the decision to keep moving through the pain. And that's the decision you have to make every single day. Your body will scream quit. Your mind will tell you to stop. Your environment might not support you. The people around you might not understand you. But if you listen to the pain, you lose the promise. If you obey your weakness, you forfeit your greatness. You've got to learn to suffer with purpose. You've got to understand that the pain you feel today is carving out the strength you'll need tomorrow. And let me say this, because somebody out there is dealing with something deeper than just a hard workout or a long night. Some of you are dealing with real pain, the kind that cuts into your soul, the kind that makes you cry when nobody's watching. I see you. I know what that's like. I've been there. But I need you to know even that pain has a purpose. Even that pain can be used. Even that pain can be part of your legacy. Some of the most powerful people in the world didn't come from perfect beginnings. They came from brokenness, from abuse, from loss, from failure. But they made a decision. They said, this pain will not define me. It will not destroy me. It will develop me. And they took that pain and they built something with it. They let it fuel them instead of stopping them. You got to get that mindset. You got to wake up and say, I'm not afraid of pain. I'm not running from the struggle. I'm embracing it because I know what's on the other side. And what's on the other side? Freedom, impact, legacy, generational change. That's what we're fighting for. Not just comfort, not just success, legacy. Something that will live when you're gone. Something that your kids will talk about. Something that your grandkids will be proud of.
That's the level we're on. So the next time you feel like giving up, the next time the pain gets heavy, remember this: pain is temporary. You might hurt for a season, but if you keep pushing, what you build will last for a lifetime. Don't give up in the fire. Don't fold in the heat. Let it shape you. Let it refine you. Let it make you unbreakable. Because one day when they talk about your name, they won't talk about the pain you went through. They'll talk about what you built through it. They'll talk about the legacy. But that legacy only comes to those who don't quit.
Everybody wants to shine. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants the praise, the applause, the recognition. Everybody wants to be celebrated. You want the spotlight, the stage, the claps. But let me ask you a serious question. Are you willing to grind in private before you shine in public? Because that's where it starts. That's where it's earned. Not under the lights, not in front of the crowd, in the dark, in the shadows, in the moments when no one's watching and you got every excuse to quit, but you don't. You see, people want the rewards, but not the responsibility. They want the finish line, but don't want to run the race. They want to lift the trophy, but they don't want to feel the pain of the weight room at 4 a.m. They want to wear the crown, but they don't want to carry the cross. It don't work like that. You don't get to shine unless you grind. And not just grind when it's convenient. Grind when it's lonely. Grind when it's boring. Grind when nobody cares. Grind when there's no proof it's working. Grind when all you got is faith. People don't see what happens behind the scenes. They don't see the nights you stayed up learning the craft while everybody else was watching Netflix. They don't see the mornings you skipped sleep to get the extra reps in. They don't see the rejections, the failures, the breakdowns, the losses you kept private. All they see is the result, and they think it came easy. They think you got lucky. Nah, you weren't lucky. You were just consistent when no one else was. You were putting in silent hours. You were building when no one was watching. You were sacrificing when no one was clapping. That's what separates the winners from the talkers. The talkers perform when there's a stage. The winners perform when there's silence. The talkers post about what they're going to do. The winners go do it without saying a word. Because real power is quiet. Real greatness doesn't need a mic. Real confidence doesn't need to be broadcast. When you really want it, you don't have to tell the world. Your work tells them for you. I remember back when I was sleeping in abandoned buildings. I wasn't on Instagram talking about the hustle. I was living it. I wasn't trying to convince anybody I was great. I was becoming great. I didn't have fans. I didn't have followers. I had faith. I had fire. I had a dream. And every day I got up and worked like the world was mine. Even when I had nothing. That's what it means to grind in private. You got to get comfortable with being unseen for a while. You got to learn to love the process more than the praise. Because if you only show up when people are watching, you'll never become who you were born to be. You got to be okay doing the work in silence. You got to learn to wake up, grind, improve, study, struggle, and repeat with no likes, no followers, no applause, just discipline, just focus, just fire. Most people quit, not because they're not talented, but because they can't handle being invisible. They can't handle working without recognition. But if you really want to make noise in this world, you got to disappear for a little while. Go underground, go dark, stop seeking validation and start seeking mastery. Stop chasing followers and start chasing skills. Stop worrying about how it looks and start building how it lasts. You don't need attention, you need preparation. You don't need fans, you need fundamentals. You don't need hype, you need habits. Get off the stage and get in the lab. Get off the phone and get in the zone. Grind in silence, study in silence, train in silence. And then one day, without warning, the world will hear the sound of your name. One day, your work will be so loud, nobody can ignore it. One day, the thing you've been building in the dark will shine so bright, it'll blind the same people who doubted you. But the shine comes after the sacrifice. You don't plant the seed and harvest in the same season. There's a season for digging. There's a season for planting. There's a season for watering. And there's a season for growth. But it all starts with getting underground. Nobody claps for a seed in the soil, but that seed's working. That seed is grinding. That seed is fighting every day to break through. And eventually it grows. Eventually it breaks ground. Eventually it sees the light, but only because it didn't give up in the dirt. You are that seed. You might be in the dark right now. You might feel buried. You might feel overlooked, underestimated, forgotten. That's okay. That's where every great story starts. The question is, are you going to grow in the dirt, or are you going to die in it? Are you going to rise through the grind, or quit because it doesn't feel good? You got to decide, because greatness isn't born on stage. It's born in struggle. It's built in the unseen hours. It's forged in the fire when nobody is watching. If you keep grinding in private, you won't have to beg for success. Success will find you. The shine will come. The opportunity will come. The stage will come. And when it does, you won't have to pretend to be ready. You'll be ready because you worked for it. You earned it. You bled for it. You paid for it in hours, in effort, in energy,
in faith. That's the kind of shine that lasts. That's the kind of success that stands the test of time. So if you're in the grind right now and you feel like nobody sees you, nobody respects you, nobody believes in you, good. Stay there. Build there. Become something there. Because when you rise, you won't just shine for a moment. You'll shine for a lifetime. Because it won't be fake. It won't be hype. It'll be real. And real don't fade. Let them sleep on you. Let them overlook you. Let them talk while you train. And then one day, not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day, when they least expect it, your light is going to break through. And the world is going to wonder where you came from. But you'll know where you were. You'll know how you got here. You were in the gym. You were on the grind. You were in the dark, building a legacy. So stop chasing the spotlight. Start chasing greatness. The light will find you. Just grind in the dark until it does. Let me know if you'd like me to expand point 5 next, or help turn these into a complete motivational speech or series. Motivation is a spark, but it burns out fast. It's not reliable. It comes and goes like the weather. You can't build a future on something that's inconsistent. You can't change your life with something that disappears when life punches you in the mouth. If you're waiting to feel like it, you're already behind. You don't need more motivation. You need discipline. Discipline is what gets you up when motivation is gone. Discipline is what pushes you when it ain't fun anymore. Discipline is showing up day after day, whether you feel like it or not. Anybody can be great on Monday morning when they're fired up. But what about Thursday night when you're tired? What about Saturday morning when nobody's texting you? Nobody's checking in and your body's begging for rest? That's where discipline lives. Motivation is loud, flashy. Discipline is quiet. Motivation shows up in music videos and hype reels. Discipline shows up in cold gyms, in libraries, at 2 a.m., in notebooks filled with plans and goals. Discipline ain't sexy, but it's what builds empire. It's what separates the elite from the average. Because the average person is a slave to how they feel. They let their emotions dictate their effort. But the disciplined person, they don't care about feelings. They move based on vision. They move based on commitment. They move based on who they said they would be. You ever wake up and not feel like doing nothing? That's normal. That's human. But if you only move when it feels good, you'll never accomplish anything real. You can't let your feelings drive. Your feelings are passengers. They can ride, but they can't steer. Discipline grabs the wheel and says, I made a decision. I'm sticking to it. Discipline says, this is what I committed to. I'm showing up whether I'm tired, sad, stressed, or busy. You think all those world-class athletes feel like training every day? You think all those entrepreneurs feel like grinding every day? You think I felt like showing up to speak when I was broke, when nobody knew my name, when I was sleeping on floors and eating out of vending machines? Of course not. But I made a decision. I told myself, I don't need to feel good. I need to do good. Because success don't care about your mood. Life don't care about your excuses. Dreams don't care about your feelings. You either show up or you don't. You either execute or you don't. Discipline is when your actions align with your vision, no matter the mood you're in. You said you wanted to be great, right? You said you wanted to be successful, right? Then stop moving like someone who's waiting to be inspired. You don't need inspiration. You need integrity. You need to look in the mirror and say, I'm not going to keep breaking promises to myself. Because every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, you're training your brain to believe your word means nothing. And if you can't trust yourself, who can? The disciplined don't negotiate with themselves. They don't debate with their own mind. They say, this is who I am. This is what I do. And then they go do it. No questions, no delays, no distractions. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you rise above. That's how you build momentum. Not by doing it when you're excited, but by doing it until it becomes your nature. You've got to train your discipline like a muscle. You start small. Maybe it's waking up at the same time every day. Maybe it's hitting your workout no matter what. Maybe it's studying 30 minutes a day. But you build that consistency. You build that identity. You stop asking yourself, do I want to, and start saying, this is what I do. Because once discipline becomes your standard, success becomes your habit. I don't need you to be hyped. I don't need you to be fired up all the time. I need you to be solid. I need you to be steady. I need you to show up on the days it hurts. On the days it's boring. On the days when everything in your life is screaming rest. That's when the breakthroughs come. Not on the easy days. On the hard ones. Not when the world is cheering for you. When nobody believes in you but you. You say you want to change your life. Then show me your discipline. Show me your routine. Show me the sacrifices you're making. When nobody's looking, stop looking for motivation in YouTube videos and start finding it in your own reflection. Say to yourself, I'm going to be the kind of person that follows through. Because when you stack disciplined days, they turn into disciplined weeks. Disciplined weeks turn into momentum. And momentum, that's how lives are changed. You won't always feel it. And that's okay. You don't have to feel it. You just have to do it. You just have to move. One rep at a time. One task at a time. 1 hour at a time. The world is full of talented people with no results. Gifted people with no grind. Smart people with no consistency. Don't be one of them. Be disciplined. Be dangerous. Be different. People keep asking, how do I stay motivated? You don't. You outgrow it. You stop relying on it. You replace it with something better, something deeper. You replace it with conviction. You replace it with structure. You replace it with ownership. Discipline is the bridge between what you want and what you get. You want that body, that bank account, that business, that future. It ain't coming through excitement. It's coming through execution. So the next time you don't feel like doing it, good, do it anyway. That's the rep that counts. That's the moment that builds character. That's the hour that forges your future. Forget how you feel. Remember what you promised. Your goals didn't disappear. Your discipline did. Get it back. Lock in. Show up. Be relentless. Because motivation may get you started, but only discipline will keep you going. And in this life, the one who stays consistent, the longest, wins. Let me know if you'd like me to expand point 6 next, or if you'd like to combine these into a full-length speech. You didn't come this far just to come this far. You didn't survive all that pain, all that rejection, all that failure, just to sit back and say, I'm good. You weren't built to be average. You weren't put on this planet to blend in. You weren't born to settle. There's nothing legendary about almost. There's nothing great about good enough. You're not here to meet the standard. You're here to raise it. You're here to set the bar so high that people look at you and say, how did they do that? You see, settling is a disease. It starts in one area of your life, and before you know it, it infects everything. You settle in your relationships, then you settle in your career. You settle in your goals, then you settle in your character, and you keep telling yourself, it's okay, I'm doing better than most. But listen to me, better than most is still average, and you weren't built for average. You were built for extraordinary, but extraordinary doesn't show up until you stop settling for what's easy, what's convenient, what's safe. There's a voice inside you. You know the one I'm talking about. The voice that whispers, you were made for more. But every time you settle, every time you compromise, every time you accept less than your best, you silence that voice. And if you silence it long enough, you forget it was ever there. You forget you had dreams. You forget you had fire. You forget what it felt like to wake up hungry, to move like your life depended on it, to chase something with everything you've got. People settle because they're scared of failure, scared of risk, scared of what people will think. So instead of reaching for greatness, they reach for comfort. They reach for approval. They reach for what's familiar, even if it's killing them inside. And then they call it being realistic. Let me tell you something. Being realistic is the fastest path to regret. Realistic doesn't change the world. Realistic doesn't build empires. Realistic doesn't make history. What makes history is people who refuse to settle. People who look at their situation and say, I don't care what it looks like. I'm not stopping here. You want to be successful. You want to be elite. Then you've got to get aggressive about your standards. You've got to start telling life, I want all of it, not some of it, not a piece, all of it, every level, every opportunity, every ounce of potential. I want it all. I want the life I saw in my dream. I want the power. I want the peace. I want the impact. And I'm not negotiating, because if you don't make that decision, life will hand you whatever it wants. You'll take whatever job is available. You'll stay in whatever relationship is comfortable. You'll accept whatever outcome feels safe. And one day you'll wake up full of regret, not because you failed, but because you never even tried. And that's the pain that eats you alive. The pain of knowing you settled. You've got to wake up and fight for more. You've got to look at your life and ask, where am I playing? Where am I accepting less? Where am I making excuses when I should be making moves? Because settling is subtle. It doesn't always look like giving up. Sometimes it looks like staying in a situation too long. Sometimes it looks like shrinking your goals to fit you. Sometimes it looks like waiting for the right time that never comes. You don't need perfect timing. You need perfect effort. You need to act like your future is on the line, because it is. Listen, if you were just here to pay bills and die, it'd be different. But you're here for impact. You're here for transformation. You're here to leave something behind that outlives you. You're here to push the limits of what's possible for yourself and everybody watching. So don't you dare don't you dare lower your standard because other people are uncomfortable with your ambition. Don't you dare quit because the path is hard. The path is supposed to be hard. That's how you know it's worth it. Let me tell you something. Every successful person you admire refused to set. They had moments where they could have taken the easy route. They could have said, I've done enough, but they didn't. They kept going. When they were tired, when they were broke, when nobody believed, when the progress was slow, they kept going because they understood something most people don't. The cost of settling is far greater than the cost of pushing forward. You've got to live like the fire in your gut is more powerful than the fear in your mind. You've got to move like you've already made it, not with arrogance, but with assurance that you're not stopping until the job is done, until the job is done, until the vision is real, until your reality matches your dream. And when it gets hard, and it will, you remind yourself, This ain't the end. This is just the middle. I didn't come this far to stop here. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's about being better than who you were yesterday. It's about refusing to accept mediocrity when excellence is possible. It's about refusing to be just another name in the crowd when you were born to lead, born to inspire, born to break cycles. Your story is not over. You still have chapters to write. You still have battles to win. You still have levels to climb, but none of it happens if you settle. So ask yourself right now, where have I accepted less than I deserve? Where have I convinced myself this is enough when deep down I know it's not? What dreams did I put on hold because I got comfortable? And then make a decision. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Decide that you're going to raise your standard. Decide that you're going to expect more from yourself. Decide that you're going to make the rest of your life the best of your life, no matter what it costs. Because once you make that decision, everything changes. Your focus sharpens. Your energy increases. Your mindset shifts. You stop waiting and you start building. You stop doubting and you start doing. You stop making excuses and you start making moves. That's the power of refusing to settle. That's the moment everything starts to shift. You didn't come here to be average. You came here to dominate. You came here to leave a mark. You came here to be unforgettable. So don't let anything, not fear, not fatigue, not failure, stop you from chasing the version of you that's still out there, waiting to be unlocked. And the only way to meet that version, never settle. Not today, not ever. Let me know when you're ready for the expansion of point 7, or if you'd like all 7 combined into a single speech or audiobook style delivery. The moment you get a taste of victory, the moment you start winning, that's when it gets tricky, because that's when ego shows up. That's when comfort starts knocking on your door. That's when you start looking around, comparing yourself to others, thinking you've made it. But let me tell you something, the moment you think you've made it, that's the beginning of your downfall. The moment you start believing your own hype, you've already lost. That's why you've got to stay humble. That's why you've got to stay focused. You didn't grind this far just to flex. You didn't sacrifice sleep, comfort, and peace just to get a pat on the back. You didn't come out the mud just to show off. You came here to dominate. You came here to leave a legacy. You came here to change the game. And you can't do that if your head gets too big for your grind. Humility isn't weakness. It's your anchor. It keeps you grounded when the world tries to gas you up. It reminds you that no matter how high you climb, you're still a student. There's always another level. There's always more to learn. And the second you forget that, the second you let success convince you you're done growing, you stop being dangerous. See, real winners don't need to announce they're winning. They don't need to walk in the room screaming, I'm the best. Their work speaks for them. Their consistency speaks for them. Their legacy speaks for them. It's the insecure ones that need to make noise. It's the ones who know they're slipping, that try to cover it up with flash and talk. With the humble ones, the humble ones, the humble ones stay dangerous because they're not distracted. They're not out here seeking validation. They're not performing for the crowd. They're performing for purpose. They know why they started, and they're too focused to be fazed by praise. You've got to stay locked in, tunnel vision, eye of the tiger. Don't let the noise around you pull you off your mission. You think just because you got a little success, you can ease up now. You think just because the people are clapping for you, you can slow down. No, that's when you push harder. That's when you double down. That's when you sharpen your sword. Because now you're on the radar. Now people are coming for your spot. And if you start coasting now, somebody hungrier, somebody more disciplined, somebody more focused is gonna come take everything you worked for. I see it all the time. People get a little money, a little recognition, and suddenly they forget who they were when they were hungry. They forget the pain. They forget the struggle. They forget the nights they cried, the nights they bled, the nights they almost gave up. And that's when they start losing, because they start feeling like they don't have to grind like they used to, like they've outgrown the basics. Let me tell you something. You never outgrow the basics. You never stop showing up early. You never stop staying late. You never stop learning, because the moment you do, you start dying. I'm not impressed by what you did last year. I'm not impressed by your trophies, your followers, your bank account. What I care about is your discipline, your consistency, your character. Are you still doing the little things right? Are you still working like Rizal? Are you still reading
studying, training, like you've got nothing to lose. Because the second you stop doing those things, it's only a matter of time before it all comes crashing down. You think staying focused is easy. It's not. Distractions are everywhere. Success brings comfort, and comfort is the enemy of greatness.
People will try to pull you in 100 directions. Opportunities will come that look good on the surface, but lead you away from your purpose. You've got to be ruthless about protecting your vision. You've got to say no to things that don't align. You've got to remind yourself daily, why did I start this? Who am I doing this for? That's what keeps you centered. That's what keeps you from drifting. And don't just stay focused on the work. Stay focused on your value. Stay focused on who you are. Because the higher you rise, the more temptation there is to compromise. People will offer you shortcuts. People will try to buy your loyalty. People will tempt you to abandon your principles for a quick win. Don't fall for it. Don't let success change your soul. Stay rooted. Stay honest. Stay you. That's where your real power is. Every morning I remind myself, Eric, you ain't done nothing yet. I don't care how many stages I've stood on. How many people quote me, I'm still growing. I'm still learning. I'm still grinding. Because there's always someone coming after me. There's always another level. And as long as I breathe, I'm climbing. I'm not interested in being remembered as someone who was great once. I want to be known as someone who never stopped pushing. Someone who stayed hungry. Someone who stayed humble. Someone who never got comfortable. You've got to wake up every day like you just got started. You've got to train like you're still trying to make the team. You've got to hustle like your family's future depends on it. Because it does. Success ain't permanent. Momentum fades. If you don't stay focused, life will humble you real quick. Life doesn't care about your past wins. It's about what you're doing today. It's about what you're building now. And if you're not moving forward, you're falling behind. I want you to get to the top, but I want you to stay there. And the only way you stay there is by staying grounded, staying locked in, staying hungry. Let your work speak. Let your discipline talk. Let your character shine. Keep your head down and your effort up. Stay humble, not because you're small, but because your mission is bigger than you. Stay focused, not because the journey is short, but because the destination is worth it. Let the world talk. Let them doubt you. Let them misunderstand your silence. You're not here to prove them wrong. You're here to prove yourself right. And that takes vision. That takes clarity. That takes humility. You've got to look in the mirror every single day and ask, am I still moving with purpose? Am I still leading with integrity? Am I still focused on what really matters? If the answer is yes, then keep going. If the answer is no, recalibrate and get back to the grind. This game don't reward pride. It rewards perseverance. It rewards focus. It rewards humility. So stay low, stay locked, stay real, because the most dangerous one in the room, it's not the loudest. It's the one who works in silence. The one who doesn't need applause. The one who's too focused to notice the noise. That's the one who wins. Not once, but for life. Let me know if you'd like all 7 expanded points compiled into one seamless motivational speech, or need them formatted for print, audio, or presentation. It's not just inspiration, it's survival. It's the blueprint for the hungry, for the ones who refuse to die with potential still locked inside, for the ones who aren't satisfied with average, who aren't interested in fitting in, who won't stop until they become everything they were born to be. You want to stay hungry? Then you better wake up with purpose. You better know your why so deep it shakes your bones. You better understand that excuses are the language of the broken, and you're not one of them. You better outwork everybody, not because they're watching, but because your destiny is watching. And when it gets hard, and it will, when you get tired, rejected, overlooked, broke, laughed at, you don't quit. You dig deeper. You remember who you are. You remember that pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. And when you win, stay humble. When they clap for you, stay focused. When you taste success, don't get full. Get hungrier, because there's always another level. There's always more inside of you. The minute you think you've arrived, you just delayed your greatness. You didn't come this far to be decent. You didn't sacrifice all that to be average. You came to dominate. You came to finish. You came to change your family tree forever. So I dare you, stay hungry, not for the spotlight, not for the praise. Stay hungry for growth. Stay hungry for purpose. Stay hungry for impact. Let the world see what happens when a human being refuses to settle, refuses to slow down, and refuses to die with dreams still in the tank. This is your time, your move, your legacy. Stay hungry and never look back.